everyone. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. I know I am. I don't know why I hesitated, but anyway. Today we have a very, very special guest. We have Alexz Johnson. A lot of you may know her from So Weird, Instant Star. She's been on a few things. She actually has an album that has been remixed and that is now available for the public. So she's, I got to talk to her for a little bit, and she's pretty awesome. I think you guys will love her. So if you guys know now, I am kind of getting over being sick, unfortunately. I don't know, it magically came over the weekend. So, I'm battling with that, but I'm going to be better in no time. So why am I wasting this time rambling? So without further ado, we're going to talk to Alexz Johnson. So here we go. Hello, Alexz, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for thinking of me. It's awesome.
No problem. Well, so like I said, you've been on a few shows. You've been on, So Weird, and you've been on Instant Star. So you've had your fair share in acting, but as well, you've also had your fair share in singing. And is that something that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, it's funny, music's always been my first passion, actually. And when I first got a part, when I got So Weird when I was younger, it kind of happened randomly. I went to an agent and said I would really love to sing, and he said, well, I don't know if I'll be able to help you, just get singing stuff. But he's like, but I can try, but I can definitely get you going to auditions. And I went, auditions? Okay. And I just started auditioning and got a couple commercials, and I was like, this is kind of fun. I don't have to go to school. I can just go and, do Staples commercials like this. And then I got So Weird, and I played a singer. And I was like, this is really, really cool. And I was able to write some songs for So Weird, or co-write some songs. And then after that, Instant Star was kind of a similar situation where I got to play a musician. And that's kind of, the reason why I could do it for so long was because there was so much music involved, and music is such a huge part of my life that I kind of lucked out in that regard. So I do like acting. I love acting, but, singing is definitely my number one thing. Singing, songwriting.
Awesome. And I think they worked well for you because in So Weird, you had this kind of really she wasn't troubled, but she had this kind of mystery to her. And so it kind of worked well with your music because the music kind of really just complemented her personality. And so did Instant Star because she had this little troubling, rebellious stage, and it kind of complemented that very well.
Yeah, that was fun. Me and my brother were doing a lot of writing for our own stuff at that time, and we were able to start writing for Instant Star, and that was really fun. Being able to kind of write songs specifically for Jude, the character, was really, really cool. And it kind of started my songwriting. So Instant Star was kind of a blessing in my life, like a blessing in disguise at the time, because I was really learning how to craft songs, and there was expectations, there was deadlines on songs and stuff, and it made me feel like, okay, I can do this. This is really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
So you mentioned Instant Star kind of started the way for your singer-songwriting. So Instant Star definitely was a different show at the time when it came out. There really wasn't any show that was kind of like that of its kind. Did you expect it to be as popular as it was?
I guess I didn't really ever realize, or still to this day, I'm so bad with gauging all that stuff, but I feel like there's definitely there's some amazing fans. That show really got some awesome followers, and to this day that are still following my music career and acting stuff. And I know, but I didn't know. No, you never really know, and you're working so hard too on something like that you don't really realize how many people it's reaching. So it was really cool to just kind of see these people that really were affected by the show in a good way.
Yeah, and I think too, Instant Star was really kind of realistic because it really went into depth. Even for those that don't know what Instant Star is, it followed the life of a girl who won a contest, right? and went through the life of her growing up basically in the record label and in the business, the music business. So it really kind of complimented what could happen if you were in that situation, of being in this.
Well, yeah. Yeah, at the time, it, really mirrored exactly what was happening in my music life. Exactly.
Wow.
When I was doing Instant Star, I was me and my brother were, able to contribute songs towards Jude, the character on the show, but we were also just working a lot on our music and our sound, and we spent a lot of time in the basement writing, and Brendan was producing, and we would just write. And then I signed a deal with Capitol Records in the States, just based on me and Brendan's demos. And I signed with Capitol, and it was a major label, and at that time it was kind of, the head of the label was kind of shifting jobs, and the whole label was being shifted, and it's like at major labels every 6 months there's just a massive merge or a shift where people lose their jobs and artists are just left in the dust, numbers of them at a time. So while I was going through that with Capitol and basically my deal was falling through, Jude was at G Major, and her deal, she was kind of battling the head of the label and trying to find her sound and sticking to her guns, and it's been a fight, from the beginning. I find it's really difficult there's a fine line between being a unique artist and sticking to your own sound and vision, and, playing the game, because when you sign with a major label, you're basically, people are putting money into your music, so you kind of have to play ball a little bit. I always had a really hard time doing that, so it got me in trouble when I was younger, 15, 16, 17. But and it was similar to Jude. So when I was acting on set, I was like, this is so weird. This is what is life creates art, art imitates life, or whatever. It was very easy to act.
Well, that's good. Well, it was a nice mirror for you. Now, do you look at Instant? Do you still get the chance to look at Instant Star, or do you have moments in your life where you do something or you'll say something and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's totally what what would happen if I was Jude or.
Well, I mean, Jude kind of represented a lot of she was kind of the younger, I don't know, stubborn, feisty version of me. Actually, Jude the whole time kind of remained who I was very young in this business. You start getting more understanding as you get older and really realizing why you do it and figuring out if you really want to do it, because it's a really tough business. But, I mean, for sure, with YouTube and stuff and, people post things here and there, and I'll stop and watch. I like watching the bloopers because I think it brings back a lot of memories. We had so much fun on set and laughed really hard, so seeing stuff like that is really fun.
Oh, that's nice. Do you even still keep in touch with a lot of the cast members of Instant Star?
I try. It's hard because we're all kind of all over the place. I know that Laura's shooting, and I believe Tim's in Montreal, and I'm here in LA, so it's hard to kind of catch each other with all the travel, but I miss them very much, and it was such an awesome 4 years of my life, and they made it just so easy to work on that show. It was a really awesome crew and cast, and even everyone at Epitome is wonderful, and sometimes I miss it, of course. It was so far in my life, it was kind of a chunk of my life, but, when I'm 30, it won't be such a big chunk, but 4 years is a lot of time to work on something. So it's kind of like a family that you develop a family relationship with everyone. So, it's really exciting watching where everybody goes with their stuff and their work and their art. And, Tyler Kite is in Sweet Thing, and they're just awesome. And I was watching Easy A the other day. I just put it on with a friend, and Sweet Thing song was at the beginning, and they're it's just really cool because they're from Toronto, and it's really fun to watch where everybody goes.
Right. I know. Really, I'm really trying so hard. I think honestly, I should make a Instant Star reunion special on my radio show and just have the whole cast come back. I think that would be so awesome if I could get everybody to come back at the same time.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Yeah, I think it would be so nice. Because really, everybody's just kind of grown up because it's been a while. It's been a pretty long time since the show, and I think it's really interesting to see what everybody's been up to over the years. So I'm really hard to invest some time and see if I can get the whole cast together. That would be great.
That'd be really cool. I would support it 100%.
Okay, good. Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got Alexz Johnson, so that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk more about you now. We talked a little bit about your your past, but let's talk about the album Voodoo and a little bit about the songs on there, like Boogie Love and all the other tracks on the album. But what was the inspiration behind that album?
We kind of wanted to do, me and Bren, my brother, who's an awesome songwriter and producer, he kind of pulls out in me this very free, all these kind of very quirky, unique ideas that I have like deep down inside, and it's really cool when we write together because we just come up with these very different sounds. We don't often listen to new music that's out, or we don't listen to the radio very often, so our influences are from a lot of older stuff, Beach Boys, and I love Kate Bush, Peter Gabriel, he loves the Police, and
right.
And when we get together and write, we were just doing all this really creative stuff, so we kind of came up with this idea of doing this concept album where each song represented, it kind of took you to a different place, like Mr. Jones is like film noir, like old school, like a film noir movie, and Look at Those Eyes, we wanted it to sound like like a Western or like an awesome Clint Eastwood film, and L.A. Made Me kind of had like an 80s feel, and we just wanted this record, as a whole to be cohesive, but we wanted each song to be really creative and different because we loved all these different sounds, and Voodoo is just, I'm really proud of that project because we basically got to do whatever we wanted to do, and we got help with funding in Canada, and Orange Lounge Recordings helped us out, and Factor, and we were just able to do what we wanted to do, and we put it out there. And it was really liberating, especially after the Epic, losing the Epic deal. I signed with Epic towards the end of season 4, and I started recording immediately all of me at the time, songs like Running with the Devil, which unfortunately his email account was hacked, so all those songs leaked anyway. But Running with the Devil and like Shout and Swallowed, Saving the Train, these are songs that we worked on for years, and I started working with Greg Wells in the studio in LA, and everything was going great, and then the head of the label wasn't with the person who signed the project wasn't at Epic anymore, so it was shelved. And we lost pretty much all of those songs, all the recorded versions, basically 4 months of recording them and working on them in LA was just gone. And I don't get those songs back for still, I think, like another 6 months or so. So after that experience, Voodoo was a chance for us to just, like, heal.
Yeah.
Get back in the studio and just heal. And we just had so much fun and did what we wanted to do. Yeah, and I think it was a blessing that happened with Epic because Voodoo wouldn't have been created. And one day, when I do get those songs back, I will be able to, vamp them up and recreate them if I feel like some of them, are true to where I'm at now in my life. And so yeah, Voodoo was a really cool experience, a very healing experience for us.
So basically, songwriting is almost like your rehab. It like helps you kind of just get yourself back to where you needed to be.
Yeah.
Back from what happened.
Well, there's choices that you can make. When you take really big hits in your life, you can either turn to, drugs, or you see in the industry a lot of people, alcohol, or, all that stuff, like literally rehab, or you can choose to put it towards something that could really help people and be meaningful and change people's lives. And I felt like at that time I kind of had a crossroad. I was looking at going, wow, I'm really depressed. So what am I going to do? I need to go in the studio. I need to write about it. So and it wasn't like these songs didn't turn out sad. That's the interesting thing, is that I was very true to my feelings, but none of them were really like, woe with me. I was very liberated. And I felt like, you know what, you took that away from me.